Ladies and gentlemen, SeaWorld San Antonio is proud to present the world-renowned animal expert and director emeritus of the Columbus Zoo, Mr. Jack Hanna.
How you doing? Thank you, everybody. I've had a lot of fun here the last 2 days, and I don't mean this is my last show, I hope it's not. But thank you for coming this afternoon on a beautiful day like this. We have some great animals here today. And I will say that we do have a full-grown cheetah, the last animal, so if you could, for the last animal, stay seated. And when you have to go to the bathroom, like I said last time, you have to go 70 miles an hour, so do what you want to. But we'll mention that when it comes by here. But as I told you before, everybody, I'm sure you've heard me before if you've been to this SeaWorld speeches here. My first speech almost ever was in 1973 when SeaWorld just opened up, believe it or not, in Orlando, Florida. And I went there with my daughters. I did a little zoo up there called the Central Florida Zoo, and I took my little girls who were 4 and 7, 10 years old, and took them to see the whales at SeaWorld that just opened. And for us, girls to this day have never forgot it, because when I talk about SeaWorld or our zoos throughout this country, or even the aquariums, why we do that, some people, as you know, might battle that, say they shouldn't be there. Well, I can tell you this right now. This company right here has given not millions, tens of millions of dollars for animals in the wild. Tens of millions, and I don't work here. I'm just telling you, I've witnessed it, I've helped film it. This park here, along with all the other parks by Bush, have given and saved, I don't know how many species of animal that I've actually filmed and watching what they do. So you might give a round of applause for a company that's actually saved these animals throughout the world. They've done a great job, everybody. Thanks for you guys. Anyway, thanks for coming, everybody. And, I was born on a farm in Tennessee, and I was raised that way, and I wanted a clean cage in a zoo, and I just started working in zoos. How I got on TV, that was a big mistake. I don't know why I'd ever be on TV, but I've had a lot of fun talking about the animal world. And this first animal, I had to ride one of these in Egypt, by the way. Now, if you go to Egypt, yes, ride one, but don't do what I did. I went without a saddle. I'm still not walking the right way. It's hard to ride a camel without a saddle. I thought I'd try it, but never again will I do that. And the camel, I'm gonna let him talk about the camel a minute here.
Yeah, this is a dromedary camel, an amazing, majestic creature. His name is Cairo. Pretty big creature, if you ask me, especially when you get to see him up close. You really get to see how big these guys are. I believe he's around 1,300 pounds. These guys can get anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 pounds, so they do get pretty big. And the dromedary is the largest species of camel. So there's the dromedary, which has one hump, just like Cairo here, and then there's a back-trained camel that has 2 humps. So that's one of the easier ways to be able to tell the difference between the two. But you know, that hump is very unique to these camels. They're actually not born with that hump, but as they get older, it starts to grow to its full size, as you can see, like Cairo has here. So, you know, they're kind of known for that hump, so you guys probably already know what their favorite day is, right? Memorial Day, exactly right. Yeah, these guys are amazing. Really made for hiking throughout the desert. Really do well with water retention. In fact, their hump, it's not actually water. It's a common misconception. Their hump is mostly made up of fat. So they have a lot of fat stored in there, which can be really useful and beneficial when they're going a long time without water or food, which can happen with these guys. They can actually go up to 7 days, 7+ days without having any water, and can walk up to 100 miles before even eating any water. So really built for life out in the desert and really trekking around.
You're right. And when I was in Egypt, I tried to take a camel safari, but I don't think I'll ever do that again. I did it without a saddle. It's fun with a saddle, I'm sure, but these animals, like you said, can go for days, weeks, and even months if they're treated the right way. Some guys even took about 20 of them, way back, we were talking 1,000 years ago probably, when they took them way across the deserts. And these are for adults only. And then, of course, they had to use some for consumption, some for water, all kinds of things when they did that many thousand years ago. But that's a prehistoric animal. I don't mean prehistoric, but a very old animal on Earth, and that's the beautiful camel, who came and saved a lot of people too, back in the old days. Thank you so much in Egypt. It really is amazing to see the camel. Well, actually, well, I'm sorry everybody, I don't know what to do about that right now. Maybe the next animal will come in and pick it up. Oh, would you remind me? The camel with the bathroom out here. Took care of that. Oh, she's with the Columbus Zoo with me. And this is Suriname, everybody, with the most ancient bird, the most ancient bird in the planet Earth. Now, wait a minute. That's a rubber-suited lizard. Don't get upset, kids. But in the wild, this thing here has to find a lizard or a snake so they eat. And when they have to find a rock, see there, he found a rock. Bam! It is quite funny. But kids, it's a rubber lizard. Don't cry like one of the last groups did. It's not a real thing. This is Serialma, folks, one of the most ancient birds on earth. This one's been with us for about 6 years, everybody. And this is a character, this kind of bird. But again, you're now looking at one of the most, if not the most prehistoric bird. People say it is the most prehistoric bird on earth. It's called a Serialma, folks. I don't know how many thousand years. Serialma, do me a favor, please. It's absolutely, but that's what they do, everybody. When you film them, that's how they do it. They said, okay, it's a rubber lizard, pal. One more, okay? Thank you so much. Jeez. Go back there and feed him a piece of meat or something. But look at it. They have these beautiful legs, don't they? Like a flamingo almost. But if he flies out there, don't worry. He'll just land on your head. He's not going to hurt you. But that is, you're looking at one of the most prehistoric animals on earth, everybody. That bird is it, the Serialma. And they're very, very seldom you get to see one of these animals. So I just wanted you to bring that today because it's not that far for us to bring the Serialma. This next animal is one we all know about. Well, having filmed in Australia a lot, when the baby kangaroo is born, everyone, it's almost like a piece of, not even it's like a piece of thread almost. I mean, a little bit bigger than a thread, but smaller than your little finger when they're born. It's almost like a little worm or something coming out of the birth canal. It has to crawl up like this. You go into the pouch, attached to the nipple there, inside there, and they stay in there for I don't know how long. But not forever, obviously. They start turning into a kangaroo, so they'll start jumping in and out of the pouch. I've actually seen one this big trying to go back in the mother's pouch in Australia. And what happened was, the baby wouldn't just nurse in there. It was really funny to film because he kept his tail and legs out the back, hanging around while she was hopping around. He's nursing. So the kangaroo is an animal, everybody. This animal can go up to 40-something miles an hour. Now, these animals, when they're full grown, when they stand up, they can actually stand up above me like this. That's when the kangaroos are around, whatever different types of species of kangaroo, when they stand up, it's like this. Boy, it's something else. Now, if you look at the back foot here, on the animal right here, you see that claw? Well, that animal gets pretty big, and that claw gets very big. It's not something that happens a lot, everyone, because a kangaroo can outrun just about everything. But let's say they're cornered by a dog or a dingo out there in the wild. If that happens, this animal will then, this animal's cornered, you go like this, and if that dog or dingo comes, or whatever it might be, or a person, the animal will kick out like this, and whatever's there is no longer there. And you don't know what that means. So this animal will just use this very, very, very seldom. But I've seen it happen with this claw here. It's just used like this. The kangaroo, as I said before, when that mother breeds and it has that little baby, it doesn't even look like anything but like a piece of string almost when it's born. A lot of them in the wild there, they'll just fall off and go to the ground. That's why you have to be very careful in the zoo world. And I'm sure these folks here do a great job here at this beautiful park and all the parks you have. It's not that difficult to raise one, but it's first out of the pouch and stuff. The bottle feeding it is all 24 hours a day, all the time. So thank you for bringing our little kangaroo hop along. I like those animals. Thank you so much. Beautiful animal, the kangaroo, everybody. And that's why we take care of this one. You guys do a great job. A lot of people don't understand it, especially the zoo world, what happens to them. Now, this is an animal, everybody, that's a prehistoric animal. I didn't really know this until about 15, 20 years ago. I should have read some more, I guess. The sloth goes back to the dinosaur era, where the sloth weighed over 1,000 pounds. So that must have been a big sloth, obviously. The sloth is an animal also, if you know this, some sloths are hit by, like we have deer on our highways here, they're hit by cars. Over there, when I go there to film, I've always seen 2 to 3 to 6 of these animals on the road. A lot of times what happens is if they're hurt or something, a lot of the people in there will bring these animals to our country, to veterinarians here to help the animal and take care of the animal that's been hit. Some people used to think they could have this animal. Matter of fact, they did this maybe 20, 30 years ago, where they did little baby animals like this sloth, little babies, and bring them over to the United States. Right now, a lot of states don't allow it anymore, or some of your places where you live, with this sloth. And some of you say, oh, they're so cute, and they are cute, yes. Well, I found out something several months ago, having raised these myself for a long time, that these things can bite. I was just sitting there, we were talking with 3 or 4 of us. The lady was down here, a girl, lady in her 20s was here, all of us were talking about animals. All of a sudden, she falls over and hits the grass face first. We didn't know what was something fainted. She didn't. The animal she raised like this, bit her right here and took the whole piece of her arm off. So that just tells you what can happen with the animals. Sometimes I thought they were a pretty good animal, not to make a pet, but I never saw one ever bite somebody. And there was no reason. We're just sitting there talking normally, and she helped raise the animal. But the sloth, everyone, again, you can see all the hair there. You see it there on the screen. That thing has just got hair going forever up there. So why would that animal, being, I call him slowpoke, why would that be hard for me to film? Which I've been to Central South America quite a few times. And the first time I was there, the man with the boat said, just go down there, Jack, about 15 of them, about a 10-mile radius down the river. I go down there, I don't see one of them. Why don't I see them? Because this animal, when it rains, algae goes on that hair. It's not just green, but greenish brown, and it's absolutely gooky. And so it's just kind of dripping there. So when his animal goes up in the treetops there, it just hides up in there. You would never know that's an animal. Even though it's exposed, it just totally looks like a big old thing of bushes, of leaves or something, the way they camouflage themselves. But a lot of them don't get the algae on them. But this one here, like this one here, you saw the teeth there. Some of you might have seen that. But the sloth is a slowpoke, they call them. They come down on the ground about sometimes 1 or 2 times every 4 or 5 days. In a while, they come down at nighttime, go to the bathroom, and go back up the tree. And that's why they come down there. They don't defecate the trees. There's something here to go up and get them. But the jaguars, certain types of birds of prey. But this animal here, again, everybody loves sloths today. They really are a neat animal. They really are fun to see and see how they act in the trees. But sometimes it's hard to even find them. So thank you for bringing that one to us. A beautiful sloth. Goes back a million years, I guess. I don't know. You're a human, yeah. You're a human, all right.
Water buffalo should be coming here.
A what?
Water buffalo. Anticipation is
They're killing me because I didn't know water buffalo was coming.
they are built for speed right
Oh, that's right. They had these the other day for something here at the park. That is a water buffalo. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'd love to. So this here is a water buffalo, and I've been working with animals for a while, and I'll tell you guys, it's not every day you get to be in the presence of such a large, impressive animal. You know, her name is actually Tic Tac, but Tic Tac here, though, has so many great tools to help her be able to do great things. So they get the nickname, they're originally from Asia, and they get the nickname the living tractor of the East. And that's, they put John Deere to shame, because what this water buffalo can do is all kinds of things. It's great, very strong, it can pull a lot of weight, and is known to plow fields, and then it also produces milk and butter. So things John Deere can't do.
Well, you're right about that. When you go over there, everybody, this animal is like you having about a $200,000 car or something. They don't take care of these animals like you would not believe. A lot of them sleep right outside where their huts are and stuff. Make sure no animal gets the animal. But that thing is so valuable for like you said, taking care of them, pulling things, all sorts of reasons. This animal's like having a magnificent Cadillac. Who knows? They treat those things incredible. That's one animal, folks, you don't want to get too close to take a picture of as well. Let's be very careful if that ever happens. Some people, I know it's an analogy, everybody. When I lived near Glacier National Park, lived near other parks we have the bison and all those animals out there. Some people get out of their cars and try to take a real close picture. I think one person's not there anymore. So if you want to take a picture, do take it. If the animal's far away, then get out of your car. But don't do what some people do. They try to get so close to them, and all of a sudden they explode without you even knowing it. So I'm not saying they're mean. I'm just saying, especially in our country with those animals, just take pictures of them at a distance. But that animal's horns here, I've seen them fight before. It's unbelievable how they use those horns. It's amazing. You see the big feet there that helps them too, and mud and that type of thing. So thank you for bringing that. This is the first time we've ever had one of these on the show. Thank you so much, sweetie. Now these animals here, everybody, this is now considered the most endangered cat in the world. So what you're going to see up there is what they tell us, the most endangered cat in the entire world. Now those are young ones that you see. Now they're clouded leopards. I'm going to let these guys up here talk about it in just a second. They'll tell you how big they get. How old are these right now? How old? 5 months. What you're looking at is we don't take babies from mothers just to come out here and do a show for you. However, this animal here, along with other cats, could be any type, other than lions. Lions don't do it. There's some other cats, large cats and small cats. For example, If they're born and the male is there, 90% of the time the male will consume the babies. That's why the mother leaves after breeding on a lot of cats and then has her own young. This animal here is the same thing. These animals here are called the clouded leopards from Asia, and they are considered as the most endangered cat in the world. They live their entire life in trees. Unless they fall out of the tree, they don't ever go on the ground. They live up in the trees their entire life. This cat also can climb upside down. Here's a limb. It can go like this and climb underneath it like this, like that. You can see why the one thing that coat there of these animals is like silk. And it was in that part of the world used for coats many years ago. That has now been stopped. So in the zoo world now, we're trying to bring these cats back, and we're doing a very good job, not just at Columbus Zoo, or not just here, or Busch Gardens, but these animals are going to come back. And again, you see the clouds on them, so to speak. That's why they call it a clouded leopard. That tail is used for balance, by the way, on those tree limbs, when they go like this, and they even crawl underneath the limbs. So you're seeing an animal here that's so rare that none of you have probably ever seen one of them. Maybe you have on TV or somewhere. But I'm going to let him add anything to this I might have left out about the clouded leopard.
Yeah, so clouded leopards are found in Southeast Asia, in the tropical rainforest and the jungles that are there. And like Jack was saying, they love spending time in the trees. They spend more time in trees than any other type of cat on Earth. So pretty much, and this one loves eating fig trees, as you can see. So pretty much every single part of their body is built for helping them get around way up high off the ground. They've got these super long bodies and these really long tails to help them balance, short little legs to give them a really low center of gravity, and their feet are excellent at gripping branches. Even the pads of their feet, they're really pink and bright, thank you, are actually really good for helping them to grip onto tree bark and rocks and anything else that they might want to climb. Unfortunately, they are such a critically endangered species because of what makes them so beautiful, and that's this gorgeous coat that they have. These big cloud-like spots are highly coveted in the illegal wildlife trade, but zoos and aquariums all over the world are working together to make sure that these animals have a safe future in the wild, and SeaWorld does that, Columbus Zoo does that, just about everywhere works together to ensure that for them.
I've been over there, but never seen one of these cats. They're just very difficult, mainly nocturnal, they live in trees. And I just wanted to bring a cat. They say it's the most endangered cat in the world. We don't usually bring it, but we want to show the people now what it's like. So thank you guys from the Columbus, Ohio Zoo. Thank you. Beautiful cats. Today they do not use their skin for coats like they used to. They stopped it. But this animal here, I doubt all of you have seen this animal. This animal is called the echidna. Now, there's only 2 egg-laying mammals in the world. An egg-laying mammal. Picture of you going home and having, like our farm in Montana, having cattle there, and all of a sudden you come home and the cow lays a big egg. Well, this is a mammal that lays eggs. The duck-billed platypus and the echidna are the only 2 mammals in the world that lay eggs. Can you imagine that thing laying an egg? Anyway, the echidna is an animal that you can see these quills. I'm gonna let you take over in a second, where it's from and things. This animal's quills are like beyond it's like a nail, by the way. It's not like a little tricky thing. This thing is like a solid nail. You can see the animal almost looks, something's wrong with it. It's not nothing wrong with it. It's prehistoric. If you look at the head of the tail, you can't see it right now. Maybe great camera work here, by the way. You see the tail there. See what it is? It's just a big bunch of quills back there. So where this animal lives, Asia, right? Australia, I mean, where this animal lives, the dog or dingo chases it. It always goes into a hole. And where he lives, he usually stays in an area about as big as a stage here, where they have holes there to go in the ground. The dog or dingo over there chases it, he jumps in the hole, but leaves out his bottom, sticking out of the hole. Isn't that amazing? It leaves it out, sticking out. Why is that? You see the thorn is back there, you see what's back there, so that dog or dingo bites it and gets the holes in his face. What does that do? That means that Mother Nature taught this animal that by doing that, that dog or dingo will never come back to that hole. Like sometimes, like our dogs, if something happens to them, they're hurt or something, they won't go back and never do that again. That's how they taught, I guess Mother Nature taught these animals to just stay there, don't go down all the way to your home, leave that out. That way you don't have to worry about the dogs or dingoes bothering you on your where you live. So that's what the animal does. Now, if this is a mammal, everybody, that lays an egg, then how does it nurse? Because there are no breasts on the animal. She'll show you that underneath there is just a stomach. So how in the world would this be a mammal if there's not somewhere to nurse? Well, it doesn't, because what happens with this animal, it just shows you how prehistoric it is. This animal does not secrete, he has pores in his belly, like we have pores in our bellies. The milk will come out, and it's not cream or white, it's blood red. the milk is blood red that this animal delivers to the baby. So you see the echidna there. Not many people have ever gotten to see a echidna. I've not seen one until about 7 years ago. And so we're having to try to multiply these things at Columbus Zoo. And it's working okay, I guess. And there he is, everyone. An animal that's just unbelievable as far as I think, with all those quills. Thank you so much for being in Columbus. It's beautiful. And that animal I don't pick up. I'll try to pick that animal up and it holes in my hand every time I try and do that with the animal. Well, you may or may not know this. SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, they probably rescued eagles more than anybody I know. And I know quite a bit the zoo world. There's also a place in Minnesota that helps with eagles. But Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, they're literally released, I don't know how many hundreds of bald eagles because they have the right veterinarians here. A lot of these animals. Well, that's the third time today. I have a lot of work here for this show. Okay, I know. Anyway, what's happening here, the animal seems out there in that screen if you want to move over, whatever you want to do. But the bald eagle, everybody, is our national bird. We all know that. What happened, you guys remember what, back in the 1970s, what happened to the bald eagle? A lot of people were taking the bald eagle out, and I won't say it with children in here, with GUNS, and I'm not against GUNS, I'm just saying what was happening to these birds. And in Montana, there were almost every one of them gone. Then finally the government put their foot down. Anyone today get caught, this is what it was several months ago, was caught by taking one of these things out or doing something to it where it doesn't live. It's a $5,000 fine and also maybe a little term in prison. They had to do this because if not, that bald eagle in the 70s would be gone forever. I don't know how many were left. I've heard someone told me 75 left, someone told me 125 left. All I know is our country was just about gone with the bald eagles. And now it's all come back very, very well. That bird, you see on the feet, the talons there on her arm right there, that's 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch on a full-grown eagle. Now that doesn't mean kids or anybody out there that's walking around the eagle's going to come down and grab your arm. If that animal were to right now jump on here without that glove, it would take this bone and pop it in 1 second. That's how powerful those talons are. I just wanted you to see them. And I want to thank Golly, beautiful SeaWorld and their beautiful company that saved so many of it and released it back in the wild. Thank you so much. They never announced it, but they've done it, and I just want to thank you guys for saving the bird. Yeah, every time I see an eagle, we happen to have some in Montana, I just love them. You see how the cheetah's looking there? Remember I told you where it looks at? When I film these things in Africa, everybody, when I film the cheetahs can spot something up to 3 to 4 miles away, even further than that. Their eyesight is unbelievable. Now the cheetah, real quickly, I didn't know this until about, 5 or 10 years ago. The cheetah was an animal the Egyptians, thousands of years ago, used as a tool. They actually got the cheetahs, there are no more cheetahs, by the way, or anything up in northern Africa. But that's what the Egyptians did. They actually got the cheetahs, the young ones, kept them around there, trained them, and they used the cheetah as a hunting tool. There are no guns in, there are no anything, who knows if bows and arrows there, I don't know. I do know this. If you go there and look at the pyramids and look inside there, you'll see the cheetah hunted food for the Egyptians. So that animal was very important to that part of the world for I don't know how many years. The eyesight there, you see the face, I don't know if you can see the space there, yeah, perfect. You see the dark marks? Why is that? Because the cheetah is one of the few cats in the world that hunt when it's 100 degrees outside. They don't hunt at nighttime like most cats. They come out as hot as blue glacier, and I film a lot of time in Africa. I stay there a lot. And that animal will be out there crouching down the grass when it's like 100 degrees. They'll watch, because all the other animals, hoofed animals, really know they're going to be hunted at nighttime. That's why they get big old groups. In the daytime, they just go out there and graze everywhere. Not really paying much attention to being taken down. But that's how the cheetah does it, because lions don't do it, jaguars don't do it, all these other animals mainly hunt in the darkness. And the cheetah, by the way, if you go home tonight and you're going 65 miles an hour on the interstate, this is what I do with my grandkids, because I want to see it myself. I know what 70 is, but to really see it, kids, if you're going home on the interstate tonight and your parents are going 60 or 65, I always like to go 65 or 60 and let the car pass me at 70. That's when you really understand what 70 is. And that's how fast we've actually clocked in with our cameras. It is absolutely mind-boggling. Watch an animal take off and get up to 40, 50 miles an hour in less than 3 or 4 seconds. It's like a bullet going off. And that's how, if you can see the claws there, you'll notice that beautiful shots of this camera, you guys today here. And see those his paw there, with those beautiful claws hanging out? the only cat in the world that does not retract their claws. This cat does not retract them. That's when he's just digging into earth to go 65 miles, 70 an hour. He has to have those claws as well. You can see the eyes and the eyesight, looking direct sunlight like that, with those dark marks under his eyes. And then the tail there looks like it's just a real round tail. The tail is totally bone inside there flat. It's like got a truck right over it, inside the tail itself. And when he gets going like this and makes that turn, he doesn't go like this. The cheetah goes like that. I mean, a car can't even do that, 70 miles an hour. It's amazing to watch, try and film him because it's almost impossible. You never know when the cheetah's going to hit. But he goes like this and bam, like that. And that tail is mainly wide. It's almost like a sail on a sailboat, even though it's not a real thick tail. So I just wanted to explain to you about a cheetah. And they were just said last year, they now become one of the most endangered cats in Africa. That wasn't happening. I don't know what happened. We're still studying it. We don't know. We haven't heard about poaching or anything. So I'm just still trying to figure out. They don't use the code, by the way, in most places. So we're trying to figure out why in the world this is happening over there. So in the zoo world, we've raised quite a few of these, and we think we can always go back and take them back. And we have many, many zoos are bringing these, especially Busch Gardens, the Columbus Zoo. We breed quite a few every single year. So I just wanted you to see the fastest land mammal in the world right in front of you guys here right now. See, he always follows, he kind of moves what he does. He's just looking around now. But thank you so much for Columbus Zoo, you guys. Thank you for everything. Really appreciate it. And thank you guys here for coming to what I call a company that really does things, folks. I said before I came out here about watching what they've done. I just helped them. A lot of you know what the manatee is, don't you? All right. I just released 2 months ago, manatee back in the wild. SeaWorld was the first one about 10 or 15 years ago when I was in Orlando. And right there, I don't know, 15 manatee were in there. They had a terrible winter. The red tide had come in, and all of a sudden the manatee were just going down the tubes. Finally, SeaWorld over in Orlando took them out. I helped, went back to our zoo, spent $2.5 million to build something for all these manatee. And they ended up saving, I don't know how many hundreds of manatee. This beautiful company. So God bless this company, and thank you guys for coming here today. Have a great week.